This is Steve Tortorello, promoter of Warrior Wrestling, and you are Drinking with Mo.
All right, everybody, Big Mo here. Wanted to take a little break to welcome the sponsor, Reaper Apparel. They want to encourage everybody to break the mold, live your best life, live your best self, just break out of that comfort zone. Use code DRINKIN when you go place your order to get 10% off. Some great quality stuff, great quality people. Glad to be a part of the team. Let's fucking go. Everybody, welcome to the Mo's. You know, usually when it comes to Warrior wrestling shows, I usually have the promoter Steve on with me, but you know, due to a scheduling conflict, we'll just put it that way. On my part, I'm having to do this solo this time. Warrior 27 coming up, and what a card they have. You know, I don't have it on authority what the order is, but you know, we're gonna run it down, give you my thoughts on the matches, and you know what, some of my predictions. And by all means, you know what, if you have a prediction and thoughts on a particular match, leave it in the comments, leave a review. I have Facebook Messenger open, always willing to talk wrestling. Let's get into it. First off, we have Max the Impaler versus Tootie Lynn. Now, Tootie Lynn has been having, you know, pretty good run as of late when it comes to Warrior wrestling, and well, really independent wrestling in general. I got to see her at Warrior Wrestling in St. Louis. She went up against Deonna Purrazzo that night. Was on the losing end, but you know, she kept getting invited to Warrior Wrestling. Pardon me, my dogs are acting crazy right now. But last Warrior show, Warrior 26, she went up against the amazing Kylie and ended up pulling out the win. Will she be able to pull out the win here against, you know, the very imposing, very intimidating Max the Impaler? Now, it's going to be a hard-fought battle for her, regardless of how the outcome is. Now, at the end of talking about each match, I'm going to give my little prediction. Now, as much as I would love to have Tootie Lynn come out with the win here, I'm kind of leaning towards Max the Impaler. Those that know who Max the Impaler is, you know, it's going to be hard to beat. And I will say, I can see it happening because you know what? Tootie Lynn, I can see her winning, but I'm leaning towards Max the Impaler. Next up, something that I brought up with Steve before is loving how they bring in teams and wrestlers that, you know, I'll admit, maybe I don't know as much about. You know, get my eyes on something new. Always cool to see something new when it comes to wrestling. This one, we have Bang Bros versus members of FTC LLC, being accompanied by Frank the Clown. We all know I like to give Frank the Clown shit. And the thing when it comes to Warrior Wrestling and really anywhere that him and his cronies are, they end up knowing how to pull out the win. Now, I am almost certain that, you know, Warrior Wrestling, they're inviting Bang Bros in. And if they're inviting them in, putting them on, you know, the main card, this is going to be good. That being said, you can't count out how Frank the Clown is going to factor in here. Going to pull whatever tricks he has to pull. And, unfortunately, FTC LLC going to pull out the win, as much as that pains me to say. Next up, we have Beastman versus Brian Pillman Jr. Both guys have a history there with Warrior Wrestling. Brian Pillman has been there quite a bit as of late. Beastman, last he was actually on the card was, I believe, the show right before Forbidden Door. And I talked with Steve about Beastman because I wasn't as familiar with him. Holy crap. An intimidating force and just an all-out hoss. Can't discount Brian Pillman Jr. He's learned a lot in his relatively short time in the business. And I'm sorry, my dogs are acting nuts. Anyways, you can't count him out. He knows what he's doing, but I got to give this to Beastman. Next up, we have a match that I'm very excited about. Warhorse versus Calvin Tankman of FTC LLC. Frank the Clown will be there ringside. I can only hope that Warhorse gets his hands on Frank the Clown, because as I said in that tag team match, he is going to pull some shit and try to get his fingers on that match in one way or another. He is not going to be there ringside and not be up to something. Now, that heavily factoring into me kind of believing that Tankman is going to win. I hate saying it. I love Warhorse. I'm as big a Warhorse fan as anybody, but it's just that Frank the Clown presence is going to factor in. You just know it. Next up, Queen Aminata versus Kylie Ray. Queen Aminata last seen at Warrior Wrestling when she was facing off against Sky Blue on her birthday, nonetheless. And she has been on AEW after that, joining Sky Blue there too. And she showed what she can do. Wasn't on the winning end at that Warrior show, but hey, I'm sure she can do something good here. Kylie Ray, people that have paid attention to independent wrestling, Impact, AEW as of late, even there was word of showing up in dark matches for WWE recently. So who knows what will happen there, but luckily she's going to be here, Warrior Wrestling, facing off against Queen Aminata. It's going to be a good women's match. Give me 1 second. All right. Had to take care of something with the dogs, but as I said, it's going to be a good women's match. I am looking forward to it. As far as who I think is going to win this one, got to go with Kylie Ray. Nothing against Queen Aminata. She has definitely impressed me with what I've seen, but Kylie Ray, the veteran that she is of the business, I'm going with her. Next up, got my notes here with the card. We got, this one's going to be a damn barn burner, an athletic showcase. We got Takeshita versus Zachary Wentz. Takeshita been making big waves since getting to the States. Been with AEW, doing just amazing stuff. Recently had a banger of a match against Bryan Danielson, going up, like I said, against Zachary Wentz. Zachary Wentz, part of the Rascals, doing amazing things. Been a bit of a win streak with Warrior. Had some great matches. Loving that they're bringing him back again. Now, this is, like I said, going to be an athletic showcase. Both these guys can move around like crazy. Gonna be quick. That being said, I had to pick, gotta pick a winner. I am gonna go with Zachary Wentz is gonna be keeping his winning streak going. Next up, gonna be Christopher Daniels. And I am, give me 1 second. No. All right. As I said, we're on to Christopher Daniels versus Eli Knight. Now, dogs were acting crazy there, so I had to stop. But, Warrior Wrestling, when they were bringing in Christopher Daniels, we're asking, who should we have come in and face the fallen angel? Now, Warrior Wrestling, I knew even when they brought in that they weren't just gonna pick anybody. They were gonna find somebody that obviously the fans wanted to see, but somebody that they knew would be able to put on a good show and give Christopher Daniels one hell of a match. Now, I don't know so much about this guy, but I trust Warrior Wrestling that, they made the right decision. That being said, I know Christopher Daniels is not going to take this guy lightly. He is a understated veteran of the business. Knows what he's doing. He is definitely, no offense, he's going to pull out the win. I have a very good feeling about that. Next up, we have a member of the House of Black, Buddy Matthews, going up against Casey Navarro for the Warrior Wrestling Championship. Gonna be one hell of a match. Casey Navarro ran into him multiple times. He is on an absolute roll. Can't go through this talking about this match without talking about that. He is on a damn roll. Buddy Matthews on a roll of his own, coming after leaving WWE, going to AEW, linking up with the House of Black. They are amazing, talented, athletic. Casey Navarro also unfortunately linked up with Frank the Clown. And, you'd hope sooner or later somebody would get their hands on him. I don't know. I ain't going to be there soon enough to do it myself. I mean, I wouldn't turn it down. But making me think Casey Navarro is going to end up pulling out the win because he showed how much he's got up his sleeve, linking up with a guy like Frank the Clown. Something's up. So hopefully. Next up, originally, there was that word a lot of people knew, AAA letting Vikingo come to the States, but if the rest of the show was getting streamed, it wasn't going to be able to have Vikingo's match on it. But word came out last night, the Vikingo embargo has been lifted. This match that was originally supposed to be Vikingo versus Sam Adonis for both the AAA Mega Championship and the Warrior Wrestling Lucha title, after Sam Adonis had he vacated the Lucha title because of some previous engagements. They came up with one hell of a replacement match. We're having Vikingo versus Warhorse versus Flamita for both the AAA Mega Championship and the Warrior Wrestling Lucha title. Warrior Wrestling, known for putting on great Lucha matches. This one's going to be insane. It was going to be insane before Sam Adonis had to vacate the title, but man, what a replacement they got. Horus, Flamita going up. You got to think here. Gringo Loco has the Lucha medallion. He can cash it in whenever he wants for a Lucha title shot. So here's where I'm going with that. I just got this sneaking suspicion. I don't know where Gringo Loco is going to be located when it comes to show day, but man, I got this sneaking suspicion. Gringo Loco is going to be there, and once Vikingo ends up, in my opinion, being the odds-on favorite one to win this match, Gringo Loco is going to come in, cash in for the Lucha Championship, and he's going to take that off of Vikingo. My little prediction, maybe it'll happen. Who knows? Like I said, with this entire card, man, it is amazing. I can't wait. We are recording this a day or two ahead of time, but it will be out show day, day before, day of show day. Hopefully, y'all are prepared to get on Pro Wrestling TV, order it. Great value for, considering some pay-per-views out there go for $30, $40, $50. You get this one for a lot less than that, and every bit as good. You know what? I'm excited. I hope you're excited. Good luck, Warrior Wrestling. Let's fucking go.